Hello AS, so this is your mark scheme for self-report. Nice, easy one I think today, not purposely not giving you too many questions because I felt a bit mean giving you too many. So nice simple one, outline what's involved in self-report. So you won't get 1 mark and you don't get any marks unless you mention this particular thing, which is really, really important. So you must make some kind of reference to where the participant gives information to the researcher, or you say something about provides details of their own thoughts, feelings or behaviours. Okay, so you need to make some kind of reference to the idea that the participant is providing information to the researcher. So the participant is telling them, I would do this. So if you've made some kind of reference to that, or if you've made any reference to kind of sharing their own thoughts, feelings or behaviours on a certain topic or concept, then you get a mark. And really, I mean, I will be a little bit flexible, but really that's probably, you must mention that key thing to be able to access any of the marks. And then you get 1 mark for either of the for each 2 of the next 3 points that I'm going to share. So you don't have to have all 3, but at least 2. So you must make reference to responding to questions on a questionnaire, or an interview. So you must make reference to questionnaires or interviews or both to get a mark, and say that it's responding to questions. And then tell me a little bit more about a self-report method. So make some reference to an open or closed question, some reference to structured or unstructured interviews. So tell me a little bit more about them. And you might also want to include an example. So if you've done any of those things, then you get a mark for those. Explain 2 strengths of using a questionnaire. Fingers crossed you've already used the P structure. So point example, a strength is. Point explain, a strength is. This is a strength because. And the 2 strengths are that it's a large sample, and that it gives us idea of insights. It gives an idea of insights and motivation. So if you think back to observation, we didn't necessarily get to see an insight or a motivation to why people did things. We could just observe the behaviours that they displayed. Whereas here we get to find out a bit more about why they did those things. We can ask them why what they're motivated by, and get an insight into their behaviour. So strength of questionnaire is that you can access a large sample. This is a strength because it means the study will have high population validity, and therefore the results can be generalised to the target population. A strength of questionnaires is that it allows an insight into people's motivations for behaviours. This is a strength because it increases the validity of any conclusions drawn. So they're the two key ones that I gave you, and they would be the ones that I would expect to see come up. They're also on the page that I gave you in class. Hopefully they're the rationale that you gave behind why you chose questionnaires or interviews. It's supposed to be questionnaires, when it's the rationale behind why you chose a questionnaire when you did your self-reporting class. Okay, so ideally I would like to see those. Potentially I'd accept others, but without really a lot of detail like this one, then I'd be a bit cautious. And explain 1 limitation of asking parents to write their own children. P structure of weaknesses. This is a weakness because it asks for limitations. Social desirability, and requires self-awareness. So a weakness is that the rating could suffer from social desirability bias, rating their children more highly because that is what society would expect. So they rate their children more highly because they'd expect their children to be more it's expected that children are more well behaved, or it's expected that whatever that is that they're asking their children. And this is a weakness because it decreases validity. Doesn't remove it altogether, just decreases it. Weaknesses that require self-awareness. People might rate their children incorrectly because they think that something is not true. So they go, oh no, my daughter's not, or son, or whatever, isn't aggressive at all. Oh no, they're wonderful children. When actually, if you go and ask their teachers, that might not be, or their daycare staff, if we're talking about very small children, that might not be the case. So for both of those to be able to get the marks, a bit like contextualising, for both of them you must have at some point made reference to asking parents to rate their own children. If you haven't, then your marks are limited. I would be tempted to say you wouldn't get any. I might just about let you have 1 for one weakness and 1 for the other weakness. And then the same thing, this is a weakness because it will reduce validity because the results aren't accurate. Okay, and that is that. So a nice easy one for today. Oh, thank you very much.